Okay, welcome back to the stream. Um, Yesterday I was cut off so abruptly in part two because of a storm, and I don't know, you even sneeze wrong, and the stupid power goes out here. So power's out for not that long, maybe an hour at the most, maybe not even that. But it was kind of annoying. Everything went down, went out, and anywho, I probably I don't stream now on weekends, but I probably won't even be online tomorrow because my mom's come down to celebrate my birthday. So, my birthday is tomorrow, and I'll be turning the big 50. Believe it or not, I I know I probably don't look it. I mean, I don't look like a kid anymore, obviously, but I probably don't look or sound 50. But that's the way that works, I guess. Um, anyways, okay, so yesterday I'm gonna ask ChatGPT to kind of recap where I'm at. Um, I know I decided on the magic, the way the magic works. So wizards are able to um, use intent using Quicksilver to kind of amplify their intent, and portal magic works by holding a piece of Quicksilver and having an intent to go somewhere for it to open. And Max has eventually found a way to make a device that syncs the frequencies of different realms, so he can open a portal really without Quicksilver. But he still needs vast amounts of Quicksilver for his machine because his machine it opens can open huge portals, multiple portals at the same time, march armies through and everything. That requires an enormous amount of energy, which he can use Quicksilver to amplify it. So even though he doesn't strictly need uh, Quicksilver to open a portal now because he's figured out the technology, the way it works. Um, so yeah, okay. So let's switch to desktop because I'm sure you don't want to look at my ugly mug, or at least you can still see me in the lower corner of the screen, obviously. But anyways, let me switch to make sure full screen's up here for people. The same four guys. Thanks a lot, everybody. Hey, Rook, welcome to the stream. Since you're about the only one that talks, actually, there's a couple guys that come in from like India, like Crasher Hole and who else? Anyways, there's another couple of guys that actually do come in and talk, but almost everybody else doesn't do that for some reason. But anyways, I was suggesting in chat that uh, this story stuff is taking forever, and he mentioned that it tends to take more time when you're talking rather than when you're just doing stuff. So I kind of agree, but at the same time, I am talking while I'm working. So uh, if I can find a way of getting a process where I don't have to stare at my screen and where every time I can just come up with something, you know. And honestly, that's partly why you build create a like a project Bible, because the project Bible will have everything inside it. In other words, you'll have all the ideas how everything works and stuff, so that when it comes to actually making the game, you don't really have to fall back that much thinking. And I'm kind of understanding even the design doc thing, which I don't think you strictly need, even on a bigger project. You don't strictly need a quote unquote design document, but at the same time, you do have to write stuff and you do have to design and pre put stuff out before you actually make it. that equates to a design document. Um, but it's more like the reason that you want to write all the documentation, all the lore and the backstory and the character bios and everything. You want to include everything, is so that when you actually get to the game part, um, it essentially will write itself. You go, okay, what do I need to do here? Well, what can he do? Oh, he can do this sort of thing. This sort of thing works well. Or this is the way magic works, or this is they have these kinds of things in here. So then when it comes to coming up with something for a particular like a scene or a puzzle or what piece of story or something, you can just write it out because you have everything that you need, all the backstory stuff written. But then again, at the same time, it's still a time consuming thing. So either I spend either I spend a lot of time the way I'm doing it now, where I just when I have to think up stuff, I have to create stuff, or you have to spend time actually building the backstory and the you know what type of clothes they have and what's the environments like, what kind of people are there, uh, their individual stories, etc., and so forth. You take a lot of time doing that anyway. So what's better? Is it better to pre-plan every little thing, all the lore and all the backstory and all the stuff, um, to spend the time doing that so that when you get to it's quickly you can quickly make the main part of the game quicker, quickly, quicker, quicker, uh, or do you just spend the time anyways and it doesn't really matter because you're still spending the time, you know? And if you look at it right, um, if I write a bunch of stuff and ahead of time and then I get to the actual game part, I still have to spend time on the game part, even if I don't have to think up a lot of stuff. I still have to come up with what I want. So, um, doing it the like pre-planning everything out. I don't say that you shouldn't have a plan for stuff, but I'm just saying for certain types of things, pre-planning everything out, it can be longer working on your game than it would be otherwise. And the main disadvantage is that you don't have anything to show for it. I mean, not that I wouldn't show you or tell you what I'm writing out. It's like when I was doing my notes, right? But you don't have anything to show for the game. Right now, I got something to show for the game. It's not much. It's slow going, you know, but it's there. And it's making progress. And so even if it's just like one page a week, which it seems to be taking me one page a week now for some weird reason, but hopefully that'll pick up soon. Anyways, let's open up Redot. Redot. Okay. And let's go to here. And yeah, I still wonder what is causing that jittering. I'll try to figure it out today, but I don't know if I can figure it out. Um, what am I using? I'm using Grok for that. What if I come to ChatGPT today and I give it the camera code and I tell it what's going on? Then maybe it could tell me something different. You know, I mean, it might be a programming thing. It might not be a programming thing at all. It might be just something is interfering. I actually don't know what could be interfering because I got tool scripts, but the only process functions that are working aren't. Um, Actually, let me look something up. I know I'm supposed to be doing story right now, but let me do a quick here. Let's go back to script. Let's go to search, find in files. Let's say process, custom save process, current tool. Said edit seam root layout tool, print layout tool, updated to layout tool dot name. connect buttons. And all it does is connect the buttons. So that has nothing to do with the game at all. Room manager could be something, but it's not because there's a path there. There's not even anything happening there. Okay, and then let's go to layout tool just to make sure, right? That's the zoom and stuff, and I commented that out, so that has nothing to do with anything. Let's see, layout room, process lines. So no, there is no process affecting room manager. Nope. Custom save. Nope. Layout camera is the actual layout tool is the only other thing. So process is not being affected here. Um, position, room net position. Um, line overlay. Save metadata. I should actually be able to remove everything that has to do with the lines, the line overlay, and it should still jerk. Anyways, that's not really what I should be working on. Anyways, I'm not gonna worry about it just a second, but we'll see about fixing that. Now, question is this where I was? Okay. Makes its way to the trophy room. Most of the place case had been previously housed a Quicksilver scepter is now empty with no signs of tampering. After examining the case, he was able to discern there's some magic use, but not to what extent. Until he does a closer examination. Okay. So, let's go ahead and ask ChatGPT where I'm at. It's Friday, August 22nd, 5, and 11:35 a.m. EDT. Where am I at today? We'll see what it says. Survey says small model of the device works on its own resonant frequency mechanism, but to scale up and open multiple stable large portals, Max needs Quicksilver amplification. You're about to put this in your notes so you can return later without losing thread. Basically, racking for a week on a nice, clean narrative solution. You want me to help you phrase and eat? No, it's all in there. Where was I with what Hubert is going to do inside Wizard U? With regards to the trophy room, the trophy case. Circling on, you know that Sir William's past. That's not anything to do with it. Display of enchanted awards, relics, and plaques from past vacation wizards. Actually, well, that's actually kind of true. I'm not really sure if it's from the vacation wizards or not. Just because, okay, so the Hall of Fame is full of professors, essentially, So they're all great wizards, and as Max used to be one as well. The trophy case is from like say intercollegiate games or something where they won it. They won this scepter, and then I guess the idea about Max trying to steal the scepter was um, a trial run to see if his device could actually pull something through the portal without using the portal magic. As we come to know it, that means anybody can do it that has the ability. Of course, he is a dark wizard, so he can actually cast spells and stuff. So he doesn't strictly need that in the sense, but he does still need it because the massive amount of portal opening that he wants to use. Um, it has nothing to do with Sir William though. This guy's totally wrong. Huh. It's actually tying it into Sir William's trip to Wizard U though, which is kind of true. He There's a book on curses and I don't know. There's a couple. There's something he learns. I forget what Sir William learns about. I have to actually get to that point. Okay. Okay. So Sir William is a part of this. He does get into the school later and make his way to the library. That has to do with the enchantment placed on him. However, this is strictly the beginning stages of the investigation into the strange goings on within the resort. While John checks out night school and Princess Prep, Hubert is going to check out Wizard U and Fairy God College. Right now, we're just at Wizard U. Strictly speaking, the trophy case was something I felt should be in the college. And then later decided something gets stolen. And finally, I decided that portal magic is being used to do so. Thanks for clarifying this. Is a later separate beat, and what we're dealing with right now is Hubert's investigation was used part of the strange going on in the resort storyline. Hubert isn't digging into Williams' curse stuff. Instead, he's looking for signs of villain tampering at the resort schools. Originally felt like a good set piece for a fairy god college. No, the trophy case wasn't had anything to do with fairy god college. Then you sharpen it. The theft is done with portal magic, making the mystery more magical and less mundane. Trophy case has become Hubert's first clue that Wizard U. It's a concrete something's not right moment, and it ties nightly. Okay. Okay, so it also had nothing to do with Fairy God College. It's just the order of events. He goes to Wizard U and then goes to Fairy God College to investigate what's going on with it. Um, a trophy case was something I put in my notes earlier, and it could have been removed completely, but I decided I wanted to I wanted to give hints. What do they call that thing? Pipe in motion picture jargon. Um, as to what's going on. We don't have any info on the Omni Gate at this point, except that a dwarf was actually on his way to give these documents to Hubert when he was forcefully removed. So this is our first taste of what it's all about. It's meant to lay the groundwork for what's coming later. Oh, weird. I wonder what the deal is. It's gonna work? Okay. Uh, uh, no. Um, Magical residue, optional player choice, payoff. Did you see any? What was the last thing I typed in here? No, I have it already. I was going to say that I wrote a whole paragraph that seemed to have glitched out. Basically, Fairy God College has nothing to do with the trophy case either. I was simply mentioning that Hubert goes to Wizard U first, find out what's going on there, and then on to Fairy God College after that to see what's going on there. Yes, that's right, because that is actually part of the story. The trophy case mystery bonks. Yes, yes, please. Um, Now, let me give you a bit more information here so you can get the picture. Okay, so originally I was writing a partial walkthrough, and I figured there would be a trophy case uh, like you find in either high schools, as I graduated from high school. High school. And for colleges, which I've never been to, but I imagine they have them too. Please acknowledge. Okay. So, I was just thinking about what choices I could put into this scene or room when, I was about ready to chuck it since it doesn't add anything of value. But I started thinking I need to lay some groundwork for what happens later. I don't know what you would call this. Maybe foreshadowing. Foreshadowing. Uh, but basically, it's so later things don't seem so out of the blue. So, check knowledge, please, before I go on. Yeah, I think in the movie business they call it playing pipe and not the negative. And of course, I'm not talking about the uh, lewd euphemism. That term can also apply to. So, one of the things I did already was have the Omni Gate plans about ready to be delivered to Hubert when they get confiscated. Um, and then this is the second thing, which is a portal opening device, which doesn't use normal portal magic. essentially, if I wanted to put some pseudo-scientific backing to it, would be a frequency resonator, so that you could sync realms and be able to open a portal without normal portal magic. Unglamorous but necessary setup work so the audience isn't blindsided later. What you're doing here is Omnigate plans. Now this frequency resonator portal opener is primed by playing material. Okay. Whoa, I hit the free plan pretty quickly here for some reason. I'm not even I haven't even really got started yet. That's kind of weird. I wonder if they uh I wonder if it's about the amount of questions I asked, or if they're tightening up the freebie stuff. Uh, Establishing the world's rules. Portals aren't only magical. There's tech science alternatives, and yeah, and the idea is, I mean, you can think of magic as, I'm not talking about like actual witchcraft and all that kind of stuff. I'm not thinking about talking about the like supernatural junk or whatever we find in our world, but you could think of magic as technology uh, we haven't explained yet, or we haven't figured out yet, right? Because electricity, right? Electric light bulbs. We have these lights, and it's not fire or candlelight. You know, it's not candlelight, and it's not a flame or whatever that's providing this light. It's it's literally something else. And prior to the invention of the light bulb, people would almost see it as magic because you're looking at this thing and it's lighting up, and there's seemingly no source of power like you would get with the fire. But obviously there is a source of power, and that's why it's not really magic anymore. It's a physical property, right, that we can make use of. So magic in my world here, and probably in anything that I do, will be more like that, more like a kind of a physical property, not really not like spiritual, not like supernatural or anything like that, but just a natural thing that happens in whatever story I'm doing. So, um, so it's like there's a science, right? It's like, I don't know. It's like Marvel's Thor. You know, if you remember from the first Thor movie, he was talking about the thing where magic and science kind of combine. You know, and you know the Rainbow Bridge is like the what uh, the whatever Rosen Bridge or something. I don't know. It's like a wormhole type of thing or something. But they act like they're the same thing. It's like their magic is not really magic. It's actually science. It's actually a physical property, and that's just, anyways. That's how I present my magic here, right? There's actual physical properties. So when you're holding a Quicksilver ticket and you read the words, and it opens a portal, what's happening is it's the Quicksilver is amplifying the frequency of your intent, basically, and you're manipulating frequencies that sort of match the other realm, and so it's able to open a portal into it. That's, I mean, it's not, obviously it's not real, but it's just the logic in my story, the way it works, right? Anyways, establishing the world's rules. Yeah, making later reveals feel earned. When someone suddenly lets out a non-magical portal, Perry remembers, oh right, that thing was hinted at earlier, foreshadowing complex themes, magic versus pseudoscience, or old ways versus new ways. Basically giving your Chekhov's portal gadget. Curious, do you picture the frequency resonator being something clunky and weird science, lots of humming crystals and tuning forks, more sleek and compact like a secretive villain gizmo? Probably. Um, probably something somewhat clunky. Still portable and small enough to carry. Small but clunky gizmo works really well for shadowing. It's portable, so Hebert can sell behind and notice without being absurdly conspicuous. This makes Bill experimental, like a prototype. You can drop in visual, auditory flavor, humming coils, flickering lights, maybe a few floating charge of crystals that resonate when it's active. Yeah, I could probably do something like that. Um, well, here's where that stops because he doesn't really know what he's looking at exactly. But through various magical methods, he's going to find out that it's something that generates a portal, just not in the usual manner. In fact, all he'll be able to find out is that what was I? Let me think for a sec. He's going to find out that it's something that generates a portal, but not in the usual manner. In fact, all he'll be able to find out is that it looks like an odd device, and that he knows by various methods that it wasn't regular magic. The magical words aren't crypt, and there's no sign of force entry, meaning that he somehow got around the magic. So I'll set up. He doesn't fully understand what the device is. He just registers as unusual. Using his magical methods, half-functioning spells, he can tell some kind of portal generator operates outside the normal rules. The words aren't dripped. No forced entry, nothing physical deserved. He gives it possible any universe clue without over-explaining the Omnigate yet. Narratively, it foreshadows the villain's larger plan while letting Hubert stay in his detective role. He sees anomalies since the magic wasn't used normally, and now he has a puzzle to follow. You can even sprinkle in small hints that the device interacts with or resonates or frequencies without calling it outright science, so that the player senses it's unusual, but the full truth is still hidden. This keeps the scene mysterious, functional, and tied to the story. It makes stakes you're building. Also, in the movie Thor about the Marvel comic character, there's a line where Thor is saying that in his realm, magic and science combines, which is sort of the same idea. Basically, magic in my story, or even other stories not related to this, is a physical property, like electricity, that can be harnessed. It's not some spiritual or supernatural property. So I'm not trying to explain away the magic with science, but there's a science in that it's the study of to uh, magic in enchanted lands. Magic, natural phenomena like electricity or magnetism, right? Has consistent roles, measurable effects, and predictable outcomes when properly applied. Wizards don't channel spirits or do supernatural mumbo jumbo. They're essentially skilled practitioners who know how to manipulate these natural forces. Devices like frequency resonate are just mechanical or technological ways to manipulate the same underlying property, which allows you to introduce tech magic without undermining traditional spellcasting. It also lets for foreshadowing clues about how the Omnigate works, feels grounded in the world, character agency. He can investigate, test, and reason about magic using his half functional abilities. Consistency. Oh, it's not done yet. Players, readers can understand cause and effect, so magical events don't feel arbitrary. Exactly. And you probably, um, who is ever listening, even you, Rook, probably heard me say this many times. Is that's what I thought the Force was when I was a kid. When I was a kid, when it talked about the force in Star Wars, I was just like, force is like electricity. It's a force. It's a physical property phenomenon. You know, um, like he says, it's an energy field that surrounds the galaxy and binds everything together or something like that. And I was just thinking of it literally as a. I wasn't thinking of it religiously at all. Even though George Lucas tried this to kind of make the pseudo religion thing, and I didn't look at that way at all. Partly because they didn't really go into it, And then when they, how come this is chunking out? Network connection lost. Interesting. I wonder if that's on my end. Okay. Yeah, here we're gonna. Okay, consistency. Okay, it's very similar to Thor's magic is advanced science line, but you're making it integral to how your world operates, which keeps it coherent. I can help brainstorm a few waves might sense the physics of magic without needing to see the device fully operational. Okay, so all I'm concerned with right this second is how he's able to find out about the device in the first place. So for that, he's probably going to use a spell or two. He's already attuned, so he knows some magic was used. Um, you could probably reasonably deduce it was portal based, but other than that, he he can't see what actually happened unless there's a spell that reveals it, and I need it to work within the confines of Hubert's compromise. Oh, Hubert's apostrophe S. Compromised. Compromised magic. Maybe you can feel it like a vibration rather than seeing it visually. Hubert has a second more investigative spell. Trace residual max echo of events because the magic is weakened. The spell might skip pieces of an event like a broken 1930s film reel, which is this is the 30s film reel is what I was talking about before. It, um, you probably have never watched a 1930s movie. Um, and I don't know about like movies from the UK or from around the world. So primarily, I'm talking about Hollywood, United States movies, American movies from the 1930s. A lot of the times in westerns, sometimes it's in the mysteries. It kind of depends on how much the film was used. If you find something that's really old, like 1929, 1930, in pristine condition, you can be bet that there is a reason that it wasn't played very much. Because if it's played super a lot, then it's going to have like lots of breaks, and it's going to have a lot of the specks and the dust and the those lines that you see through the film. It's going to have a lot of the artifacting in it, scratches and things that accumulate over multiple playbacks, and so because of that, films get spliced and respliced, and soon whole chunks of dialogue and stuff are missing. So if you're ever curious, go watch a couple of old 30s westerns. Eventually, you'll find one that's like that. Okay, half the information from the spells he already knows about with words. Trophy case. He can deduce that the theft was not done by normal magic. He can reasonably guess it involved a portal because normal access would have tripped wards or broken glass. At this point, the device itself was revealed, but Hubert doesn't fully understand. He only knows it's unusual and unlikely portal based. Possible discovery sequence and a useful narrative hook for later investigation, a way to show Hubert's compromised magic affecting what he can perceive. Okay. He senses something magical was used, but he doesn't know what. So I still need to figure out how he can tell the words weren't tripped. I suppose he can just sense it, but maybe there's a spell that can help. And again, I still need to keep in mind his compromised magical abilities. Okay, so okay. Passive sensing and partial spell reading include. Okay. So give me some ideas of how the words manifest themselves to someone who can who has their full magic abilities. What what does it look like when words are tripped or not tripped in someone that can detect it? Shimmering geometric patterns around object rooms like transparent rooms, glyphs, or lattices floating in the air. Auditory subtle hum or vibration that seems to resonate with the object it's protecting. Tactile magical feeling. It feels tension. The magic feel like static electricity in the air or pressure against their aura. Color and tone could shift slightly with intensity. Bright silver blue for strong words. Softer gold for weaker ones. Words being tripped. Visual glyphs might flash, distort, or ripple. Light arcs or sparks could travel along the word's lattice. Faint trace of intruding spell or energy might linger as a residual outline. Um, Auditory. Tremors and chimes, buzzes, or crackles, like a bell ringing, wizard's mind something has been disturbed. Tactile magical feeling. Words being tripped, words bypassed or untouched. The rune's last remain steady, undisturbed. Attack, no flickering, no arcs. Everything looks pristine. The hum continues unchanged, no echoes or no distortions. Normal. Just a note for Hubert. Only has half of his magic. He might sense the hum and not see the lattice clearly. It flickers. Digital arcs could appear intermittent, incomplete, or blurry. You might feel something pass through, but can detect the full pattern or trace, leaving him with only that it was unusual method, portal magic. Okay, so I still have to think of something, right? I think I'm gonna be able to get this done today, though. Um, so I'm just coming to the concrete part now, where I can actually come up with something. So we were going to say that after he casts a certain spell, something visual happens, and maybe something auditory happens to detect whether they're still intact or whether they're. Maybe I'll do some sort of. Now I don't know how to explain it because it's not really like a real thing or a physical thing. But maybe the idea is there's some sort of like light tracer that goes. It's like a glowing, like a faint glowing that goes around the object in 3D space, and kind of flickers the way it does normally. Or maybe it could be like they could be like little like kind of like lights, sort of. Could be a shimmering though, I suppose, like a heat haze maybe, word reveal or something. Um, ugh, I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna see if ChatGPT can tell me the effect that I'm looking for. Okay, so if you know anything about demo effects, there's one called shade bobs, right? And let's see, is it shade bobs? Now I have to look it up. Shade bombs, oscillating vapor trails. Um, Interesting. So some sort of Linux related thing. Oh, weird. Uh, yeah, but that is what it is. Wiktionary. Shade bob. Blur object. Shade. Audio here. Shade bob. Okay, shade bob. Yeah. A type of blur object rendered additively on the display so that it blends with others but can easily be removed by decrementing the color value at each pixel. Okay, yeah. So yeah, it's shade bob, right? something that visually looks like a shade bob. Uh, Here, let's just go to this one first, and let's kind of, yeah. Okay, this is sort of the effect that I'm talking about a little bit. Although, okay, so in the Haunted Mansion, there's one point, I think it's on a wall or something, that this kind of light tracer kind of goes around. It looks sort of like a shade bob, kind of. Um, let's see some here. Let's say, um, Disney's Mansion Ride, uh, light tracer effect. I'm not even sure if I could even pull it out, but there's a glowing orb effect, traveling light. Okay, so let's see if we can get an image of that. Um, I might actually have to go through the ride, like go through a thing of the ride, because I think it happens early on. Um, Town Mansion features subtle and eerie light effect known as the traveling light or glowing orb effect, which creates the illusion of ghostly presence moving through the mansion's upper windows. Visible from the outside of the attraction in both Disneyland. Let's see. The glowing orb appears to float past one of the upper windows. Is it in the window? I didn't think it was in the window, though. Hold up, conditions. Traveling light, glowing orb effect. Old school rotating coffee can in the yellow schematic. That's not really what I'm talking about, maybe, but maybe. Let's see if it's only 2 minutes. Okay, so just a sec here. That's not really what I'm talking about, though. It's not this window. It's not this thing in the window here. I always thought. Okay, so I always thought it was at the beginning of the Haunted Mansion. Um, Haunted Mansion full ride through. I don't know if I be the Disneyland one or the Walt Disney World one. Um, it doesn't matter that much exactly. I mean, it kind of does. This is 12 minutes. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. I'm gonna jump up to a point of where I think the effect can be seen, which is I think towards the beginning when you're at Madame Leota's table here. So that here. Hold on. Let's see. Okay. Oh, somebody's doing the stupid. Yeah. If I can't find it, I can't find it. Maybe I could ask the AI because it might be able to make the correlation that I was seeing between what I was looking at and the and shade bobs. I don't want the stupid. Okay, I don't care. Whatever. I need to be in the room. There's that. Now, some dummy put night vision on, and There we go. It's actually right there. Ooh, it is. That's not exactly what a shade bob is, but it's like a shade bob. Why don't I do? Let's see. Instead of full right through, um, Haunted Mansion, right, uh, and Leota, oh, Leota table or seance, whatever. And okay, we'll try this one. It doesn't really matter. I just want to see one in color. This might just zoom in on the head though. Here. Oh, somebody create this dude created an effect though. That's cool. You know, it's just like a projection on the inside of the what the heck? Inside the ball. Um delay loop. What does that mean? Does that mean somebody's stuck in there? Yeah, and that's a pretty okay. Not recreation. Okay. I guess hold on, let me go to YouTube. Whoop, not Rumble. Could find it in Rumble, but probably not. YouTube. And um, Yoda's uh, seance room haunted mansion right. There we go. Well, even this is not that clear just because it's I guess because it's so dark. But the effect um see little green dealy. Okay. So maybe I should think of that as an effect, even though you can't really see that in text, but maybe this is how I should describe it. So here, let me go and okay. So with the demo effect called a okay. So do you know about the demo scene effect called the shade bob? Shade bob comes to demonstrate classic retro graphics trick, especially seen 2D sprite deformation effect where an image or a bitmap is warped and distorted, usually by manipulating pixel position based on sine wave or some other function. Wavy, jelly-like distortions, making sprites appear to ripple, twist, or bob without full 3D. Okay. Okay, so with that, do you know about the Haunted Mansion in ride in Disney World? Not sure if Disneyland's Haunted Mansion has the same effect, but as you're rotating around Madame Leota's floating head, um, in the seance room, one of the visuals surrounding the table is this little green light with a sort of fading trail that sort of looks like the shade Bob effect. You know what I'm talking about? Yes. There's small glowing lights floating around the table with the lead fading trails often ripple, twist, or shimmer as the ride vehicle rotates, giving dynamic, almost alive appearance. They seem no horrible. The impression of floating, swirling, magical energy. You could definitely use that as an inspiration on how magical residue or portable energy might appear to Hubert, especially with this half-functioning magic, little shimmering, bobbing, almost glitchy traces in the air. Okay. Um, I can probably come up with the description, but I think this is how I want the visibility of magical words to manifest itself. So when you cast a spell to reveal the wards, they're rotating lights with trails that move around the object in question. But maybe if they're tripped, maybe something happens and they seem to fall and fade out. Like, what, sparks? Sparks? What do they call that? In the air. Um, Small floating lights over the smooth object and smooth paths, leaving fading trails behind, almost like miniature comets or glowing motes. Yes, exactly. Rotate steadily, creating a sense of containment and protection. Sensation for wizard, calm, hum, smooth energy flow, no interruptions. Lights flicker violently, accelerate or spin chaotically, and scatter and fade out like sparks flying away. Auditory magical feeling, a sharp resonant chime or crackles felt, and smooth hum becomes chaotic, broken vibration. Okay. Lights continue their rotation perfectly, no flicker, no gaps, completely undisturbed. Sensation, energy fills, stable and intact. Interpretation, this could be Hubert's clue that normal magic or physical tampering didn't occur, something unusual like a portal that bypassed them. Uh, okay. Okay, so I think I've got at least this part. Now I still should come up with the spell. It will be a word reveal. Not sure if I should just even maybe call it that directly. Um, so, when Hebert casts it, it will intermittently fade in and out. Undisturbed, since the idea is there still intact. Distinct from what happens when they're tripped. They fall like fading out sparks. Reveal magical words around an object, said word sense, Aegis reveal, luminous scan. Effect with full magic, floating lights over the objects, leaving fading trails, rotating smoothly, steady hum, and the. Well, I don't know about the hum thing. I might leave the hum out. Maybe that should have an audio component to it, but effect with half-functioning magic, lights appear intermittently fading out, sometimes pausing and flickering but briefly, circularly rotating around the object. The gaps are jitter, hinting at the spell's partial effectiveness. Some lights break apart, suddenly scattering like sparks, visually and magically distinct from normal operation. Clearly distinguished between normal trips and partially detected wards. If it's Hubert's compromised magic, so it's consistent, gives you a cinematic visualizable cue for player reader without over explaining. You can even sprinkle a narration. Lights bob and fade around the cave like tiny sentinels on patrol. Untouched for now, it emphasizes both the magical presence and Hubert's partial perception. No thanks. So, I'm considering now how to incorporate these things. So, I could simply use the pattern of choice above that uses 15 pages or cards, where you can go through all three choices in whatever order you want. Well, that wouldn't be the case either, because this is the thing that has to happen first. So that isn't the case. That isn't what's going to happen. Okay. So this is got to be kind of independent then. Whatever I do to actually show what's going on, that's going to have to be the thing that choice. This is going to be something that's not a choice per se. So in the page, basically what it's going to do is going to say Hebert pulls out three hats and then casts a Lumina scan. Uh, word reveal. Um. Anyways, word reveal spell. But with Hubert's compromised magic, it fades in and out intermittently. You know, the swirling floating lights. So, okay, so that's what's going to happen. So that's going to be in a page. And then the next, then the thing is that he's gonna try. Let's see. Well, let's see how many words it takes up first. So we'll do that a little bit. Yeah, I guess this will extend until next week, I guess. But at least I'm getting somewhere, anyways. Um, Hubert tries a word reveal spell because of his broken magic. Nothing happens at first, but then um, let's see, floating, rotating lights appear and then disappear and disappear, appear, disappear, and then reappear again. Um, Hubert mutters something about the wards not being stripped. Hmm. Okay. Um, you do the time echo. Okay. Okay, so and actually this could actually be a puzzle, but I'm not going to do it like that because it would be too many pages and stuff. Because I could do a deal to where you could do it how do I say it? Where you have to layer one on top of the other, but you could still do it in any order. I don't know. Anyways, I'll just do it this way to make it easier on myself. So then Hubert searches. Actually, Hubert searches his. Oh, that's the other thing. Think of a backpack, right? Think of like a carpet bag that you might typically see a wizard having this bag full of items, magical items, or things that help them. And now imagine that you have to carry this thing around. It's kind of heavy, maybe. Not that you couldn't do something magically that makes it lighter, but what I'm just saying that maybe it's heavy and stuff, and you don't want to lug it around. Well, the modern backpack kind of solves that, right? It's smaller, but since it's got straps, you can um, pull it over your shoulder. Well, actually, you know what? I just thought of something. You remember Golden Axe and the thief? The thief always has this bag over his shoulder. So maybe his wizard bag, instead of being a carpet bag with a handle, maybe it's something he can sling over his shoulder, and that he does sling over his shoulder. I don't know. Yeah, his bag and realizes. Oh, interesting. And when this is a full puzzle, you'll actually have to physically do that. You'll have to actually go into into his hat room and pull out some other hats and stick them in the bag, and then go back to where you were doing. Yes, he doesn't have the right hats. So with Quicksilver in hand, opens a portal to his hat room, and then maybe I'm gonna put this on 2 pages. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to have too many like straight up pages, but let's see something here. Okay, so at what point do you think I should split pages in general? I have several things Hubert does here. His magic um, is called hat magic, which means he has to put on 3 hats in a certain order or configuration in order to cast a spell. He carries a few in his bag, but when he finds he doesn't have the right hats for the spell, and this is another thing, I'll have to figure out how to incorporate it. Hat magic, I liken to the drafts in Loom. In Loom, you have to have a certain sequence of notes to actually create some sort of magic thing, some sort of effect. And some cases have to do it backwards to make it back up or make it reverse. But so the hat system is sort of like that, kind of. But it's no more than 3. But you can use any number of hats. It's just only 3 at a time, right? Only probably 9 possible combinations, 9 possible orders, right? Permutations. Huh. He'll have to open a portal to his hat room in his house and retrieve the appropriate hats. Okay. Okay, so he wants to cast a word reveal. So he checks his bag, realizes he doesn't have the hats, opens a portal to his hat room, and then retrieves the hats and casts the spell. Then, after figuring out the words are still intact, he needs to use some spells to reveal what happened in the room. Which will probably manifest itself as 3 spells that you can do in any order. But this first page is a lot of writing, a lot of statements. I'm wondering if I shouldn't shunt half of it off to another page before going into the free spells. That show him what happened. General splitting pages works best whenever a single page starts to do too many things at once, or you have multiple distinct actions or decision points. Distinct action scenes. Hubert checking his bag, realizes he's missing a hat, so open a portal, retrieve the hats, casting a spell. Each of these is his own mini event, so you could split it after he retrieves the hats before he actually casts the word reveal spell. Yeah. Anytime the player might choose an order or spell or method, it's a natural page rig. For example, 3 investigative spells could be a new page. The choice is about which to cast first. If page is getting visually or mentally dense, break it up. Long paragraphs, full description, plus multiple actions can overwhelm the player's playing, keeps the flow digestible. Page 8, checks his bag, realizes missing the hats, opens the portal, retrieves the appropriate hats, end page right before casting. Page C, next pages. Player chooses the order of the 3 investigative spells. Yeah, I'm just, I've, you don't have to do anything. I've just been, let's see, trying to make sure there aren't too many cutscene pages. That is just a single set of linear pages. Although this probably warrants splitting into 2 pages. Almost could do 3 pages because an action requires requires he checked to see if he has the right hats, and then he has to switch locations, which could also necessitate a page break, and then back to the trophy room. Okay, but now here's another problem I just realized. Hubert needed a way to get into the school. But if he can just pop in and out of locations, why didn't why didn't I just do that earlier? Travel teleport loophole problem. Measure storage elements. The character can freely portal anywhere. It can remind earlier plot obstacles. He has a handle without bringing your setup. Here's the portals temporarily. Here's personal portal ability can be limited by distance, preparation, or energy. For example, he can only open a portal to locations that he is prepped or is attuned to, like his hat room, but not Wizard U until now. Could introduce a magical signature requirement, meaning he can't just skip straight into any school or room. The initial entry is still a challenge. Use a portal key item to get maybe he needs a token and one or other artifact safely bypass. Later, the hat room portal is easy because he already owns the portal key for that location. Story reason plot device. Early access will be locked for narrative reasons. Wards are more sensitive on instances than interior locations. Some wards require direct contact to bypass only the right effect. Portal travel could have magical cost or side effect. Uh, Always justify why Hubert can portal to his hat room, but not pop into Wizard U whenever. Yeah, I mean, yes and no. I've already established that portal hopping, portal creation is kind of outside, so that means anybody can do it, and that means that's why when you get the tickets, it opens a portal into a magic train because you can do it too, even if you don't, if you can do magic. It's the item, it's the intent plus the quicksilver that does it. So I have a logic here. Um, Really, what it means is I might would have to get rid of the might would have to get rid of all the stuff that I did before about him getting into Wizard U in the first place. Hmm. Yeah. Okay. I guess this is still kind of a no go here because I already set up a kind of logic, namely that portal magic is separate from other forms of magic, which is why a tourist can hop into a flying train in midair when they use their tickets. That being the case, the um, university university shouldn't have been an obstacle. Let me think for a moment because I might be able to come up with something that doesn't break existing logic. Alright, since you already established portal as its own system, you don't want to contradict that with a logical solution to make those for you an exception to normal portal access or to introduce a reason Hubert can't just portal freely without undermining prior world building. Some ideas, special entrance wards. The university could have specific anti-portal field entrances, so only certain methods let you enter, like a tourist wand trick or another key. Location-specific limits. Portal magic might require previous attunement or physical contact with the destination. Here hasn't been inside Wizard U recently, so you can't just jump in yet. Temporal or magical interference. Some location could be temporarily unstable or magically distorted, preventing ordinary portal travel. You have to find a workaround. Story-driven manual entry requirement. You can explicitly frame it as a plot reason. First entry needs ingenuity to set up foreshadowings. Later, you can portal freely once the location is discovered. Um, you can suggest it. Decide whether I can use it or not later. Anti-portal field. So standard magic portal cannot bypass the doors. Work around the tiny tourist mouse he meets has partial access. He's small and can manipulate tiny openings in outer walls. He's not fully wizard yet, so the anti-portal wards don't detect him. He can't portal in directly, so he has to collaborate with the mouse to gain entry. Um, Okay. Breaking portal rules. This foreshadows Hubert's clever use of portal magic. Perhaps later. I could sort of use that, but I could also tweak that a little. Um, so normal portal magic cannot work around magical words. Only that device can, I think. So if I make it so that, okay, I could say that there's a magical field. And looks like what time. Looks like my time is up for today. So maybe on Monday we can resume this. I'm gonna go ahead and hit OK here, and I'm gonna go ahead and save it. Okay. All right. Okay, so I guess that about wraps it up for today's part one story session or whatever. I guess I'll figure this out next week. This is not going. This is going to take forever if this. I keep on having to spend a week or two just on one stupid story beat. I might should have just removed it, but now I'm in this far. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to figure it out. And I think that these schools, in fact, Princess Prep, even though I'm not sure if I figured out a way of getting into Princess Prep either. But we're going to say that these schools are magically sealed, okay, and that there's no way to actually go in there. Like a regular portal magic could actually trip the wards, right? But this device that wouldn't necessarily trip the wards, right? I mean, that's kind of what I'm going for. I'm going for this scepters in the case, and they scepters in the case, and so in order not to trip the wards, not to trip the alarm, so to speak, they go around it. They circumvent it by opening a portal within the trophy case, steal it, and then leave. Um, what was I saying? Um, so the school is sealed, except the school isn't physically sealed still because of the little mouse thing. So the mouse is able to let him go through his room and then re-enlarge inside. Okay, so once inside now, we can say that he can break the lock, the enchanted lock. So he can break the lock. So whenever he teleports out of there, he can't teleport in there, but he can teleport out of there, or he can't portal in there. portal is different from teleporting. Teleporting requires a spell. Portal requires just Quicksilver and your intention. So, yeah. So, once he's inside, he's able to portal out. This breaks the enchantment of the lock. So now he could even go in through the front door. In fact, maybe I should set that up as a thing. The reason that Sir William can actually go through the front door. Maybe he would be able to go through the front door before that happened. And since it's happening first, that's a non-starter kind of thing, right? Anyways, I think that's what I'm gonna go with. Anyways, I'm gonna say thanks for joining me, and I will see you in an hour, approximately an hour, with part two, where we'll work on the layout tool, and I'll try to see if I can figure out how to stop the jittering of this. Anyways, yeah, see you then. Where's the thing? Where is the thing? Thank you for watching part one.